This is Wednesday, 9th of January 2013. I'm your host, Michael Burgess, and Panasonic's guest blog at Royal Mail's G Plus HDR playing hide and seek using Eyes with Michael John Burgess and at DPR Connect.
You're listening to Photography, the online podcast to talk about photography news, tips, and more. So join me for my weekly show for your weekly dose of photography news and more with your host, Michael Burgess, for this week's episode of Photography.
All right, come on, get the news over with.
Our first news story of the week is keeping it real in HDR using Photoshop. Now this article is all about what is HDR, how to shoot in HDR, what to do to combine your HDRs, what you should do with HDR, and what is HDR. Now, a lot of you have noticed that I spoke about HDR in a podcast before. Now, I'm going to go into more detail about HDR in further podcasts, so look out for special podcasts that I'll be bringing out. But I'll talk to you today about what this article entails. It goes like, firstly, you'll need to get the shots. Rather than shoot several variety exposures, go for 3. So basically, what you have to do, on the back of a DSLR camera, which again is an interchangeable lens camera, the ones where you can change the lenses, and basically what you have to do is, on those sort of cameras, they have what they call a bracketing system. Now not all these cameras will have a bracketing system, but most of them do. What you do is you look at the bracketing system on your thing, and you'll have to look for the individual one for your camera and set it to 1 over, 1 middle and 1 under, or 2 over, 1 middle. So 2 over left, 1 middle, 2 over right. And basically, when you take your photos, it will take 3 photos. So you have to keep your finger down on the shutter button. And basically, what that does is it takes 3 photos, 1 overexposed, 1 underexposed, and 1 normal. And then when you get to the computer, it shows you how to put it together. Now this is showing you how to do it using CS, but I've got Elements, so I do it in a different sort of way. But what this is explaining is, if you've got CS6 and it works the same on CS5, basically it's showing you what you do is you get all 3 of the photos and then you layer them on top of each other. Now the only thing annoying with Adobe's CS is you have to cut out certain parts of the photo yourself so that it fits on top, or you have to blur it or whatever. So that's the only annoying thing. There are free programs out there, or programs out there that do HDR for you. For example, I've also got Photo Plus on my computer. Now we had this way before we got into the CS Photoshop with Adobe. Now Photo Plus has built-in HDR, so I don't know how to do it in Adobe as of yet, but using this article I will find out how to do that and show you my things on Flickr in the future. Now, because of that, what it does is I select 3 photos and it combines it together and does the HDR for me. So it's all simple done, all done for me. So, I mean, it's great if you do HDR and you've got CS. A lot of people that do HDR already know how to do it, but if you're doing HDR for the first time and want to know how to put it together in CS, then follow that and just see what you can get out of it, because it's basically wicked. Now the next article we come on to is Google Plus adds pan and zoom feature for high-res photos. Now this is just a short article basically explaining to you a new feature that Google Plus have put onto their Google Plus website. It's basically a feature. If you put up a high-res photo, you know, ones that are taken from a 12.5 megapixel camera or more. And what it does is, if you see that photo on Google Plus and you like the photo and want to see more depth, all you do is you zoom into the photo. Now, by zooming into the photo, you're on the left hand side of the picture, you will get a little box. This little box shows you where you are relative to where you've zoomed in on the photo. Now, Google Plus have made this an extraordinary feature to their website, making Google Plus more suitable for photographers. Now, I've mentioned in a blog post before, where on mographyphotography.wordpress.com, that Google Plus is made more for photographers. More than anybody else out there. You can use it as an ordinary site, but mainly for photographers, because it's a brilliant way to integrate your social networks with Google Plus. Now, Google Plus in itself is its own social network, but I like the fact that you can integrate your YouTube, Flickr, Twitter. The only one it doesn't integrate with is Facebook. Now, I can understand why with that, because they're trying to surpass Facebook or become its own social network site besides Facebook, and trying to be better than Facebook, because they tried to buy up Facebook. Now, with this also, you'll be able to see some stunning photos going up there. Now, Google have updated their image upload size, which means that you can upload a bigger file size now through picture onto Google Plus. So like you do on Facebook, it's the same on Google Plus. The only difference is I trust more with Google Plus is the fact that, well, Google Plus do not own the rights to your photo if you upload it onto their site. Unlike Facebook, when you sign the terms and conditions on their site, what they don't tell you is that they own the rights to that photo once you've put it up there. But they don't tell you that. You've got to read the terms and conditions to find that out. And again, seeing a high-res photo on Facebook isn't as detailed and isn't as good as having a high-res photo on Google Plus, for example, through this new feature. Our next article is Royal Mail stamps mark the 50th anniversary of the London Underground. Now, from past experience, or from what I've been told, the London Underground is the largest running railway network in the world. It's 150 years old. Now, the Royal Mail have taken pictures of what the outside and inside used to look like, or does look like now, through pictures, and it's got the date on there to tell you what it is. You've got one picture from the inside in 1863. You've got another picture from the inside in 1911. You've got a picture from the outside in 1934, and you've got a picture of people going in and out at 1999. Now, this picture basically, what the stamp's basically doing is it's celebrating the new 50 years of the railway network in Britain. Now, like I said at the beginning of this, the railway networks in Britain are the longest running railway network in the world, basically. And for them to take pictures and to share them like this, I think is great, because although they're doing it as a commemorative stamp where you'd have to send them off, the annoying thing about that is I would rather keep the photos and make sure that the photos are safe and that I can see them for future reference. Because what I like to do through photos sometimes is take a photo and then show them, so when I get older, if I ever eventually have kids, I basically want to be able to share that with my kids, because what I saw then won't be the same as what they see then, and when they're my age. And then it's the same for my father. Basically, he saw something and then I've gone to go and see it, but it's different because of the way it's changed as he's got older and I've got older, and seeing it at his age is different. There is one picture that me and my father took once, though, talking about differences, where it's in London, just by the castle, the Queen's Castle in London. There's a park. In that park there's a river. Then what I'd taken one picture from over the river of the castle, and my father, at my age, took exactly the same photo, and I kid you not, besides one of them being sepia, you could literally put these two photos together and bang, they are the same photo. They are exactly the same photo. We did it on the computer. We took off the